Welcome, everybody. Okay, I decided I would do something else today because I'm dressed nicely. At least I'm not painting because of the clothes I'm wearing right now. Because I love these shirts, and when I paint, I always get paint on, and I've been wearing this during the day today because I needed to look decent. And I decided, no. Let me stay just the way I am and do what I've always wanted to do. John, who did the documentary over here, remember, nobody is finished. Even if their faces look finished, then their feet aren't, because everything winds together. And when I do the angle of one person, I might have to change the feet of another one. Okay? I've been asked so many times, on the street, on the phone, by friends, by strangers, how long does a picture take? How much time do you need when you did this painting? And I look at them blankly and say, I have no idea. I can tell you how long my dishes will take to wash. I can tell you how much time I can spend to clean a room. I can tell you how much time it'll take for me to walk from here to the supermarket, Key Food. Incidentally, the Key Food in Long Beach has the kindest, nicest employees. I thought I should tell you that too. I have no idea how long this painting has taken up to now. I spoke to John and I said, John, I'm never going to let anybody do what you're doing with this painting, with my work, because he's doing a documentary of all my work. But how can I get the stories of the people into anything you could do? They haven't invented the machine yet. And since the James Webb telescope, I believe everything that is not possible today will be invented tomorrow. But I am 93 and I don't know what my tomorrow will be. Okay? So, I'm going to speak about all the people in my painting, not linear, not through their names, but I'm just going to paint at how I met them and slowly have you get to know them the way I knew them. Because I know all these people. And Eric, who is here, had said when we began this, he said, let's do a painting which will prove to future generations who we are. That we are not just people who commit genocide, who have slavery, who shoot children in the school benches. Taken separately, each human being is wonderful. And that's how I'm going to begin. I'm going to begin with the first people everybody asks me about because of the clothing they're wearing. People point to them and say, and who are these people? Greg is on the board of a place called the Crisis Center, the Long Beach Crisis Center.
Long Island.
Right?
Long Island Crisis Center, yeah. Long Island Crisis
Long Island. Okay. Long Island Crisis Center. And one day he called me, he said, you know what? I'm going to a board meeting, but it's really an open meeting. And it's something that'll fascinate you. You want to come with me? And I said, sure. And I came, and there were these two people at the meeting. But that was before the meeting began. Before it began, Tammy was sitting, and she was wearing an interesting Chinese jacket or blouse. You know, when those buttons are on one side and then on the other. And it was so elegant. It was in grays and whites. And usually the colors that come from China are louder. But this just was beautiful. And I asked, where did you get that? And she said, well, whenever I'm in a specific country, I like to find out what they wear and buy some things so that I can understand things better, the country better. And I listened, and then the meeting began, and I found out that she was being honored because she is a general, a lieutenant general. First of all, I never met a general before. And a woman general? And there was a young man watching with the most beautiful head of golden hair that you could imagine. First of all, he was listening so quietly, didn't say anything, but Tammy and I were getting all his attention. It turned out it was Tammy's wife, none of which came out until she retired of being a general. Then they both came out and said, we married during the time of don't ask and don't tell. So nobody knew. But now that I'm retiring, this is my wife. Well, when I asked for photographs, I got these. Because I could not travel, I cannot drive, and people, if they come to me, I can do them. But otherwise I need a photograph. That's them. And what I'm going to do is, bit by bit, I will tell you more about everybody. Not a long story, because it'll be in dribs and drabs, so that you get to know them the way I do. Okay? Kenny, when you're done, I'm going to the next one. I keep them in their priority envelope. Oh, do you want to put them into this envelope?
Sure.
Thank you, Kenny.
Sure.
Okay. Now, that's all you know about them at this moment. We'll go further. For the first time, we had the leader.
Go ahead.
I don't know the title she had, but she is the supreme being of Long Beach. At least she was, until she retired. And I asked for a photograph.
City manager?
City manager.
Yes.
Okay, now. Okay, and now you hear of everybody over and over as I meet them. I have a drawing when I did her with the mask. We were all wearing masks. I'll show you that eventually. But this is a picture they sent me. Her with dungarees with holes in them, a sweatshirt of a blue-eyed white woman. And I thought, how our culture is growing. This could not have happened years ago. City managers were white men with suits. That didn't mean that they were not good. They were. But now that we're learning that all of us have great value and are needed. Okay? Now, let me go. Okay. Where shall I go at random? Joey Lair. You see, what I need, when I leap from the darks, I've got to have darks to be pulled over here and over here and over here. I take a strong color and I don't leave it alone. I try to figure out how to balance by putting that same color. And I did. Here I did. I asked Joey Lair, who's been a friend for many, many years, and whose wife and I were best friends. She's in another painting. And he sent me one where he looks very regal and very, very elegant. And I needed other people near him so that it wouldn't be elegant colors here and none there. So you can see, watch the blacks being distributed. And there I have to tell my son the credit. He said to me long ago, Mom, when you do this painting, don't do the people standing straight with two legs. Because that's not the way people stand. And I said, but Kenny, these people paid to be in the painting. And how could I not do the way they want to look? And Kenny said, but it's not good for the sake of art. Do what you can do, but put grace into it the way you do into other things. And so you can see how I carry the reds, I carry the blacks, I carry the greens. Okay? Now, are there any questions? You can always...
A number of comments.
Okay.
We have... Jill Heinzman is watching. She says, hi, Hetty.
Who is?
Jill Heinzman.
Yes. It's a new person. Hi, welcome.
And Janine Schultz says, hi, Hetty. Love
Hi.
you. And Dory Smith says, happy Memorial Day. Sandy Kelman Alzek says, good evening, Aunt Hetty, from Sandy, Ismail, and Sofian. And John Tercuso says, hi, Hetty. Hi, Ken. Hugs from California. I love my new shirt.
There he is. But I'll deal with him with many more stories.
And Hernan's parents, Hernan and Fran, are both watching.
Hello. Thank you for having Hernan, who is giving me the history of my family. He does photography, but he does my family. So I've watched Jesse growing up through his photographs.
Tammy Smith says, I got the jacket that you're referring to in Beijing. Marion Guastello Kane is watching. And Carol Hodkin says, I love learning from you. And Marion says, hi, Hetty, from Marion Kane.
Okay. Now, are you happy with the way I'm going to describe everybody? Because someday we're going to make prints of this, and it'll have a list of names. But when I speak like this, I won't give you the exact names. Maybe because you might not want to be in public. Okay? Okay. I can't wait. Let me go further. Because let me explain the color part of it, okay? I worked with Joey Lair over here because of what he's wearing. This is a longer story, but a more fascinating one to all of you here in America. You're thinking, oh, you want to zero in on him. He is from Vienna, and the story is beautiful.
I have to find him. Yeah, okay.
Herbert is from Vienna. Neusiedler. When Hitler came, I was born in Vienna, Austria. And when Hitler came, the rules changed. Because I'm a Jew, I wasn't allowed to go to public school. And we went into hiding in our apartment. And one day, I wasn't allowed to look out of the window. And my brother Richie and I were very quiet. Nobody should know that we're living here. And there was noise outside. And I was 8 years old. And I needed to find out. Up to now, the people, the neighbors, had been friendly. So I didn't believe my parents when they said, you can't be outside anymore. It's dangerous. And I looked out at the window and I saw a woman with a sign on her. This Aryan pig buys in Jewish stores. And they were throwing stones at her. And by then, I was an adult. And I was in America. And I was married. And I ran to where Eric was in the other room. And I said, Eric, I saw this. I was there. And he said, find out who runs this program. And find out who this person was. Who wrote it and sent you the pictures. And this is my aim in these paintings, to make us stop being afraid and seeing enemies. Just because somebody belongs to a group where somebody expresses hatred doesn't mean that they have it. Just because somebody robs somebody else doesn't mean that everybody with that skin color or that hairdo or that whatever is just like them. And he wrote to me, I wrote to him, she sent me his name, Herbert Neusiedler. And one day, and we started a correspondence, a wonderful one. And in it, I keep all his letters. I have everything. And in one of those letters, he said, we all lived together in peace in an apartment building. Jewish children and Christian children did homework together. And then Hitler came. And suddenly the janitor wore a uniform and sent the old people out in the streets to clean the sidewalks. And the world changed. And Eric and both my children said, Mom, you've got to go back. But they said that just about 10 years ago. I'm speaking to you now in 2023. I believe it was in 2004 or 8 or something like that. I have a diary, everything is written, but in my head there isn't much of a file cabinet. But I could look it up if I ever did need to. And we went to Vienna because Eric said, don't hate a group. Don't be afraid of anything. Because if you become afraid, then the enemy wins. If they can make you afraid of people who do no harm, then they win. Don't let them win. Whenever the subject of hating groups comes up, Eric would always say, don't let them win. By the way, this is Eric. Okay? And remember, we're going to go through these people just the way I know them and the way I met them. Okay? So, that takes care of our trip to Vienna, where we met Herbert Neusiedler. We met his family. He came to meet us in Vienna with flowers and with the camera, and he took us to the apartment that we had to leave when we left Europe. And we met the people who lived there, 2 young people, and the apartment was filled with sunlight. And they belonged here. This was not our home anymore. It was theirs. And we were so glad to see these 2 lovely young people who had flowers and beauty and sunlight in the room. This is his grandchild. I wanted his grandchild in there because he sent me so many wonderful photographs of her. And I gave her a yellow shirt, a yellow dress, so that she would feel like a princess. Because to Herbert, she is a princess. Okay? Now, since I'm at that table, let me go further. Stanley Richards is eventually, because nobody is finished, but Stanley Richards is sitting at the table with the people.
Wait 1 second.
Yeah. Okay. Eric and I were volunteers at the Fortune Society, which was founded by David Rothenberg, who is the most amazing person because he and a few others founded an organization which would help people who've been in prison when they come out. It teaches parenting, because so many of them never had parenting done to them. And it teaches how to become an employee. It teaches how to do a resume. It teaches how to help ex-prisoners come out into the world and live with it. You know what I learned when we were counseling? That the noise of the city streets is scary. That when people have been institutionalized and then they leave and they go out into the street, the noise is terrifying. And since Kenny showed me I have very little time left, Stanley Richards works for the Fortune Society as a counselor and as a teacher, as in everything. But next time I'll tell you about what he does in the world, because the time is nearly up. I just want to say, when I was counseling at the Fortune Society, he always gave me his office to sit in. And I was in comfort all the time. And the funny thing is, one day I was sitting there, and they had begun to build across the street. And I wanted the wind. He said, should I close the shades? I said, no, I want to see. And he said to me, I said, I always sit by an open window if I can. And he said, it must be because for 6 months in Vienna you were not allowed to look out of the window. Everything has an answer. And so I think I have to stop now. And if it's okay with you that I continue this way, but next week I'm going to paint while I talk. Because today I look too nice to paint with my clothes. Okay.
And you have some comments too.
I'd love the comments.
Robin Lisa says, hi there, a little late. And she'll watch the rerun, and she says, awesome. And John Teracuso says, hi Hetty, it was July 2013. And Robin Lisa says, this is fantastic. You look beautiful. Carol agrees, you look beautiful.
Thank you. I love you all. I shall see you next Monday.
You still have a couple minutes if there's any last thing you want to share.
The what?
You still have a couple minutes.
Oh, good. Then let me tell you who these people are over here, okay? I once had, I used to buy art supplies from Blix, and I still do. But there was a woman there who became like a twin to me. I would call in and say, I need the tiniest brush for eyebrows. I need one that doesn't die on me. I need a good brush. And she found them for me. And whenever, I love her. When I asked her for a photograph, first I asked her to come to me, but she's working, so she couldn't. And in the photograph she sent me, that she likes the best of her, because Eric had said to me, since you have to work from photographs, because you don't drive, and you cannot go to people, especially during the pandemic, ask for a photograph where they see themselves exactly the way they are. Well, she sent me one from Disneyland with the Mickey Mouse ears and the leg crossed over. And how could I put somebody with the leg crossed over here? So I put her in a truck. That's going to be her eventually.
With the Star Wars t-shirt?
Yeah, that's the t-shirt she showed me. Okay, I think that must be it. I love you all. Bye-bye.
Oh, and let me just say...
Oh, if there are any more comments, I love that.
Yes. Marcia Goldstein-Graber says, you are quite the fashionista. And Robin Lisa says, cute. And Marian Guastello-Kane says, love you in purple.
Bye-bye. And since it is Memorial Day, let me just say that during the Hitler time, his soldiers that we met, one of them rescued my father. That'll be another story. But there was no food for them. The families of the soldiers were hungry. War is not an answer. Bye-bye.